Look, black and blue lives. Yeah. That's a new vibe. Black and blue lives. That's a new vibe.
Like, how do we agree so like when we see those like
Yeah. What is up, everybody? This is another episode of Black and Blue Lives. Y'all already know I'm Prince Blue. That is my man, Jay Steppe. And as always, we are here to talk about things and get things done from mental health standpoint, from police standpoint, community standpoint, or sometimes we're just here and we just gonna kick it for 45 minutes to an hour with you guys and just see what's going on. What's up, Jay?
Man, just admiring your new puppy dog.
Oh, my new puppy. First of all, I don't have a puppy dog. This is a stone cold killer. Come here, killer. Let's see this stone cold killer. This is a stone cold killer right here. You talking about?
What kind of dog is that? What is that?
How dare he call you
a Shih Tzu?
A toy. It's a toy poodle. You know, Shih Tzu. No grown man would have a Shih Tzu. This is a toy poodle.
I like it.
Yeah.
What'd you name it? Name him
PJ. The dog's actual name is Prince. Like they named it Prince.
No.
I swear to you, the owners named the dog Prince. That's why my wife fell in love.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be. But this is the Black and Blue Lives Canine. That's right. So, listen, what you been up to since last episode?
Man, I spent all that time creating the Facebook page.
Yep. And great job at that. Boom. That's how we're going to do this. That's a great segue. Make sure y'all follow the Black and Blue Lives Instagram page. Brand new Facebook page. We're working on a website. We should have that up by the end of the week. Make sure you follow all of that. And make sure you just stay involved. Set your notifications because like I said, we're pretty consistent on Wednesdays at 8, but sometimes, family stuff happens and means that we got to push it back a little bit. So what's up, Trey? So I appreciate everybody for being here with us. And today, that's right. If you saw the preview for the episode, we're going to talk about respect and what that means to everybody. Because a lot of people always say, show me respect, or they didn't give me my respect, or they disrespected me. But what does respect actually mean? Because sometimes when you ask people, okay, when we would go on calls and in a fight or something, or an incident would happen, and we'll be like, hey, what happened? Well, he disrespected me. Okay, I need a little more than that for the police report. So what does that mean? So Jay, what is respect to you? What does respect mean?
So just treating another person with dignity and the way you want to be treated. Like we talked about last time, a lot of stuff, especially in the streets, it's all about respect. It's all about who respects who. Sometimes it's power, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's who's tougher than the other, who's willing to shoot somebody. But just overall, man, so I mean, I think the definition would change in the different areas you go to.
That is pretty much close to mine. But mine is more like treat others as you would want to be treated. And I say that because I know everybody says that, but if you think about it, like it depends on how you want to be treated. Like some people, we've met officers, supervisors, they're just assholes. So guess what? If that's your idea, if that's how you're going to be, then guess what? You're going to get the same energy back, right? So if I'm generally a good dude and I treat everybody fairly and I treat everybody respect until otherwise, that's what I expect to get back. So that's what is respect to me. But it seems like you're not getting that a lot anymore. I don't know if it's because of social media. I don't know if it's because people are a little more emboldened. I don't know what it is, but you see it on social media. Like you'll just post a TikTok about your van, and somebody will be like, "Get a real job, you stupid ass cop," and you're like,
Yeah.
"What's that about? Like, where's the respect there? Where's where has the respect gone in your opinion?"
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I mean it, but it's absolutely gone out of the window from. I think it started, probably a little after first, and just people feeling empowered. I think it comes between the administration and uh, the politicians caving into the people who are the loudest. So there's a small minority of people who like to yell and curse and demand things, and you have the administration and politicians bowing down to these people, which empowers them, and they think they could do whatever they want, in my opinion. And so and the way they treat us is disrespectful. So other people are, hey, if I could do it, I could do it. And some of it's general hate for the police because maybe how they got treated, or we like somebody to care about. Some of it's just, hey, it's cool to hate the cops. Now it's like, hey, I hate fuck 12. Well, why? Well, I don't know, just because that's what everybody else says. So you're dealing with different mentalities, and some people hate us, and some people love us, and some people want to kill us. So it's
and I like what you said, Jay, when you said some people legit, we may have locked a loved one up, beat a loved one up, set up a loved one, or they may just not like us.
yeah.
Maybe it's a young kid and their dad tell them, "Hey, we don't like the police in this neighborhood." You never know.
And that's what you grow up to, and you see that a lot. In some of the neighborhoods we worked, is you want to give out tattoos, stickers, and talk to these kids. Well, they're scared of us based on a lot of the parents are telling them, hey, we're bad people, or they just don't like us, or they see how their parents treat us. And I think it's just ingrained generationally, and they grow up just thinking, hey, I'm just supposed to hate the police. Some of them don't know why they hate us. Some it's just a continuing cycle. It doesn't have to be in a black neighborhood. It's Hispanic, Asian, white, trailer parks, balance, wherever you go. I just think it's just a cycle.
You know who my favorite cop hater is now, Jay? And you're going to love this. It's the super white Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah. From Valentine.
From Valentine. They feel like they don't want to get canceled. So they're just like, I'm just going to jump on this bandwagon because I want all the smoke. Excuse me, Karen. Do you even know what the fuck smoke is? And if it is, do you even want it? Like why does Black Lives Matter, Karen? Like she can't even tell you. She's just
when's the last time you saw a black person in your neighborhood? But it's like I honestly think. I mean, some people are passionate about their cause, and that's fine. But there's a lot of people that jump on the bandwagon because I think they don't have anything to care about or or life. So
nailed it.
Yeah, and so hey, well, let me just jump on this. This gives me purpose. Let me find something that gives me purpose. And but you'll see you can always look at it. It's like the people who comment mostly negative on my social media. You pull them up and they have a look, right? The white people, you tell that they're from like 12 to 27. They live at home. They don't play sports. They don't work out. They don't. They're not very social. And they just take. Why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything. I haven't been in your mom's basement and turned off your Xbox while you're playing.
We saw it during the riots. Remember, it was the shaggy dude who's saying, "Why do you treat black people with disrespect?" And I'm like, dude, who are you? Like, and
they turn around and try to give the true thugs that high fives. They're like, who the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
They're like, get out of here. You're not like, why are you even here? But that's absolutely what it is, man. It seemed like everything is a cause now. Everything is viral now, but there's no passion really behind it, no deep meaning behind it. And then
what's the purpose? Other than just let's just hate police and give them headache.
let's just disrespect them. Like, even when they call you to be there, like Crowley just brought up one that he said, you remember, hey Step, remember when they told Frazier he wasn't black enough and they wanted a
Oh yeah,
black officer?
yeah, because they didn't like what he had to say. You know,
This
we both worked for Frazier. You know how Frazier was, and we're like, oh yeah, you know. And but that's the thing. If so, same thing with you. If they don't like what you, if you're not on their side and you don't like what they say, then you're not black
I'm
enough.
Uncle Tom, Super Coon.
And they you know, a lot of times they'd be like, hey, I'm only, you know, they'll call the police and say, I only want to speak to a black officer. Well, that's racist for one. You know, you can't. I mean, you shouldn't do that. And then, but a lot of times we don't have a black officer available. You're going to get who, you know, we're not going to, we don't dispatch calls based on
I love
race.
special requests. I love special requests. Like, hey, I want a black officer mixed with Chinese. And you're like, yeah. You're going to get what the hell we give you, man, because that's what we're going to get.
You're lucky anybody showing up at all, much less you don't get a, I want somebody 5'9" to 6'1", blonde to blue eyes.
Right. What if you live in Ballantyne? Like,
you're not strippers. You
good
don't get a,
good luck getting a black officer in Ballantyne. But the whole respect factor, it's like, as Miller said, my boy Miller recently married. I was his groomsman. Congratulations, buddy. I'm so happy for you and the missus. Thanks for tuning in. That's my brother, man. I love him.
And Carly can tell you, we used to ride together. When you remember on Thursdays when we used to double up.
Yes.
So you know, me and Ted would ride together. I don't know how many times we'd be called racist, or I mean, it was like, you know, we're just driving down the road, or you know, we're talking about, you know, video games. You know, we're playing Battlefield, you know, something, and then we pull up to the intersection. And somebody's like, you know, racist motherfucker, and you're like, what? I mean, we're like, you know, they. Like, what do you
could just step out of the car.
You know?
He looked racist. Look, he got a bald head. He racist. I'm like,
yeah,
he's actually going to be a lot fairer to you than I'm about to be. I've been on plenty of calls, DUI stops with Crowley, and they're looking at me. I'm like, hey, listen, it's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. It's a you drunk thing. I got
your 0.08 are probably much greater.
And it's so weird, man, because it's like, I remember one time I was on a call and they was like, I want to speak to a white supervisor. And I was like, okay. And
like, you know, this is the police. This is all we got is white supervisors. We're a bunch of racists. Good thing you called us and not the fire department.
Yeah, people with these special requests, man. But when we're talking about respect and how it can but let's even talk about police, like respect towards the community. How many people, you know, these officers, they put on a uniform and they're above everybody, like I sometimes I had to tell us, like, you do know, just because you tell somebody to be quiet doesn't mean they're going to do it, right? So you getting all hyper and anxious and them seeing you do that, they're going to just keep messing with you more. Or some officers just come on scene just disrespectful from the jump when you already got the scene covered. They come on, everybody shut up. I'm like, nobody's talking. Like, why are you coming on scene talking to people like that? Hey, I had everybody here. We was respecting each other. And now you just come out the car like Deputy Doodan and you piss everybody off. Now I got to calm everybody down. The respect goes both ways. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Fogey.
Everybody now,
I don't know.
What blows my mind is you see so many videos now that it was getting to that point when I retired in February, but that everybody you're dealing with is militant. You know, it could be a simple traffic stop and they won't roll the window down. And then, I'm not giving you my, it's just like, holy shit, man. And most of these people, they'd get a warning. If everything checks out, they're going to get a warning. But it's like everybody's, pushing the limits. They pull the phones out. They want to flex, half the time the rights they think they have, they don't. We're allowed, we're law enforcement. Where they're like, if I did that, this would happen. Well, you're not law enforcement officers have special powers, and empowered by the government that we could do. We could take people to jail. We could do other things. But if we stop you legally, you have to provide an ID or name, date of birth. You have to. We tell you get out. You got to get out of the car. There's certain things you have to do, and if you don't, you can go to jail. And but now it's like everything. And what we see now is the officers like, fuck it. People try and like it's not worth it. Just get in the car and leave. And that I understand why they do that because they're like, I don't want to get in trouble with the president. You can't do that because that sets the president. And then the next time that person interacts with a police officer, they think they could do that. And they tell 5 people they can, and they see it on, 150 people see it on their Facebook Live. And that shit used to not happen. I mean, every once in a while you'd have somebody pop attitude, but it didn't last long. You told them what's up, but now it's like everything, man, and
yeah, I mean, and it's so weird because it's like you could pull somebody over and they could be like, yo, what the fuck you want, man? Fuck all these cops, man. Fuck you. And you could be like, I was just going to tell you got a back flat.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Like, I don't, like, listen. You can have your damn body to the truck. I just want to tell you had a flat tire.
And two, a lot of times it all depends what mood you're in and who's calling. But a lot of times people they'll call me, oh, I got a flat tire. I need you to change my tire. We're like, no, you call AAA or a mechanic. We're not a mechanic. But a lot of times what we would do, you pull up, you get out with a 9.6, which is in Charlotte, disabled vehicle. And, it's a lady or somebody can do it. You change it. A lot of times you just say, I'll change it for you. Right. So you just want to get them somewhere safe. And a lot of times we would do that. And I remember one time in particular, I was on Airwood at 77 underneath the bridge, and me and a couple of my guys went our way with changing this lady. I think she had 2 flats. And I don't know about anybody else. I hate changing tires. It's a freaking pain.
Yeah.
So, especially at night when it's hot or it's cold or it's raining. I mean, it's just you're not in the garage doing it. It's never convenient. But we changed this tire for this lady. We didn't have to. She was very respectful, very nice. It happened to be a black lady. She had a couple kids with her. And people, 2 or 3 people, drive by and like, fuck 12, you racist, and yelling stuff at us.
I'm changing.
And they're assuming we're there, like giving them a hard time or whatever.
Woman.
And we're there with, we're helping. There's 3 white cops helping a black lady and her kids change tires. That's not our job. We don't have to do that. We can be like, well, good luck to you. Call somebody to help you. But doing and just so the perception, we're there to help her, and people are driving by, and she couldn't believe it. She was like, "Wow, I'm like, we're used to it."
Yeah,
I mean,
believe it.
They just assume if we're talking to somebody that we're harassing them, which I mean,
yeah, I mean, it and I don't know, man. It's just like it's like sometimes stuff just go from 0 to 100, and it doesn't have to. If people would just respect each other's space, respect each other's rights, and respect each other's. Most of the time, it'd be because out of frustration, or honestly, cops and the community don't know the laws. Like, hey, I don't have to give you my driver's license. Well, I pulled you over. You do have to give me your driver's license.
I've heard supervisors tell officers. It changed a little bit through years, but when the odor marijuana was sufficient enough for probable cause to search your vehicle, that they're like, oh, you can't search it on odor alone. This was that they changed it a couple times. You get them out and you have to smell it on. I mean, it's almost impossible to do anything now. But a lot of the supervisors don't know the law, or the. It's not
even law. It's like keeping up with case law. Those emails that they send us. They be like, hey, new case law. What do we do? Click over it, go down, find off duty. Like, we don't be trying to figure out the new case law. But
no, you almost have to be an attorney. You have to know what the stuff is, because you're like a first line. You have to know what, make sure you're within policy. It's always stricter than, we talked before, state law allows you to do this much, policy most of the time allows you to do this much. And then you always have the supervisors. Well, just to be safe, let's not allow them to do this, let them do this much. So, the way they interpret policy or whatever, they always want to restrict what you're able to do. And a lot of departments have their policies reflect what the state law says. So if state law says we can do this much, their policies, which it should be, reflect like this, that you're allowed to do this much. But you're allowed to do this much, then well, just to be safe, we're not going to let you do that, or they don't understand the law, and then it just ties their officers' hands, and it's frustrating. And then what happens when these people, show out and do something, and heaven forbid, you sometimes you have to use an aggressive tone, and then it ends up on YouTube, and they're calling and complaining. You can call in the office, you get written up for rudeness, or just for the stupidest things, man. And these people know that. They know all they have to do is complain, and they want to find something on video. They want to provoke the officer a lot of times, or make them do something. That's their payday. They want to. So, I mean, it was getting to the point where, I mean, no shit. Like, the last few weeks going in, I was going into work. I had at that point, I had lost my specialized position, my unmarked car when I did my TikToks and got 30 days. But I had a marked car, and I was driving up WT Harris, man, going to work and going like 60, and cars would blow by me at 75, 80. Not, and I marked, they didn't care. And I'm like, I just got 30 days off for a TikTok video. So I'm like, I'm not about to stop them and get complained on and then do something again to be in internal affairs or get in trouble. And so you kind of just like, oh, you're safe to do nothing. But it's when you do something, when you decide to do something and take action or do something, is when, oh, let me stop this car. Well, then they get a complaint and they say this, well, if I didn't just stop that car, I never would have been in trouble. So a lot of officers' mentality is, well, I just won't do anything because I won't get in trouble. You don't get in trouble for not doing anything, but you get in trouble when you work.
And the funny thing about it is, like, officers are going out here and they're trying to do their job, and you got the community out here that's just trying to live, man. They're just trying to make it day by day, and all these things are interacting with each other. The lack of respect, the lack of support to the officers, the lack of sleep, the lack of mental health, the lack of everything, and it's all just boiling. Like, I'm one of those that everything isn't black and white, not far as color, but as in something happened. It's like if you think about it, let's say I'm on a call and they're like, hey man, Blue was really rough with that person and cursing them out. Like, I've never seen them act like that before. Like, if you ask me, like, Blue, what's going on? Man, I lost it. It's just, I got days off of something similar. This is going on at home. I got this going on, and I'm not in my right headspace, and I did snap on that person, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, everything is not black and white. Sometimes you got to figure this stuff. Like, you've seen it. When we deal with the community, let's put it on the community. Like, we pull somebody over and they're like going off, blah, and we're like, hey man, what's going on? Man, I've been late like 2 times this week, and if I'm late again, it's just and then you be like, hey, look, I get it, I understand, but you're not gonna make it there if you get in an accident. So just slow it down a little bit, all right? Have a good day. Like, sometimes you gotta listen to people. You gotta understand where they're coming from. It's not all about enforcing the law, writing a ticket. We can write a ticket. Congratulations. But sometimes you gotta use that little bit of respect, that human element.
And we all have that
goes a long
keep that
way.
in mind. Something could be happening at home. You just think if we're on the limits, if we lost our job, we're having issues with the family, you get stopped. You already have 5 or 6 things on your plate. You're gonna be pissed off. And so
Right.
Just remember, I tell you, it's not personal at that point. If somebody's just frustrated, look, dude, I get it. I'll be pissed off too. I got a job to do. I get paid. People pay me to, if you're speeding 20 miles over the speed limit, they pay me to stop you. So that's what I'm doing. And a lot of times you explain it to people, and I know, man, I'm sorry. I'm just having I'll be like, why are you mad at me? Or, or I didn't, and you kind of shake them up a little bit. We get them out of their box. But like, hey, look, this is my job. This is what I get paid. I'm not harassing you. This is, if you're doing something wrong, I have to, have to address it. And so there's some people that every time they stop you, they're going to give you a ticket, but most officers don't. Most officers just want compliance. They make sure you don't have any warrants. They don't see any guns or drugs or everything checks out, and they send you on your way. We got bigger fish to fry than just we have traffic guys like Crawley was a traffic guy. And he wrote a lot of tickets, but that was his job. His job was to, if you stopped you, like their job is to give you tickets. So, but for the most part, officers, it's discretion. They can, but most officers are just looking for, hey, all right, cool, I'm sorry. And a lot of people that you give tickets to when you have that mentality are the people that get attitudes. So I'm like, I'm not going to give you a warning if you're not going to acknowledge what you're doing was wrong.
What you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been driving around with a plate upside down in my window for 6 months and I ain't got stopped. I don't give a shit. Well, I haven't been behind you. And you'd hear that. There'd be something totally wrong with you. Like, well, I've been doing it for X amount of time and you're the only one to harass me about it. Well, okay, I haven't been behind you before. If I would have been behind you, I would have stopped you. But those are the people that talk themselves into a ticket. I don't know how many people talk themselves to that wouldn't get a freaking ticket.
Like Michelle just said, when you get your license, you sign the bottom of the license saying that you will reproduce any driver's license while driving a car. And, a lot of people don't understand that part. Now, I know it gets dicey when you got people in the back and then you want their IDs and stuff like that. We get it. But I'm telling you, it's legit drivers out there that's be like, why I got to give you my license? And you be like, what do you mean why? Because you're operating a motor vehicle. I pulled you over and I asked you for one.
It's great being like a rookie, like, you're backing them up or something, and somebody, and they're like, hey, I need to see your, sir, I'm officers, they're all professional. And they read them as rookies because they're like all professional. And they're like, I'm not giving you my license. They're stopping. They're like, hey, he said he's not giving me a license. I'm like, okay, get his ass out of the car. Like, then that's when you step up and be like, what's up, man? Look, play games and see what happens. You got stopped for this. If you don't produce your license, you give your name, date of birth, and to pull you out of the car and take you to jail.
Right, and then we got this is.
What's this like? Is he Jewish? What's that thing on his head? Is Ted Jewish now?
No.
What's on his head?
That's his mummers, his lodge thing. But Ted said I had
VFA.
I had a guy stop. He was driving to his folks because he caught his girl cheating and had this kid in a car on Shamrock Drive. He cried on my shoulder, fell for him. I gave him a warning, sent him on his way. About a month later, I was working off duty and customers giving me a hard time. Same guy came up and told the guy to shut the hell up and told him I was just doing my job. Stuck up for me. One of the best moments.
Yeah. Sometimes you do that. You show compassion. You have, it's not about, so what, the tag's expired. Let's talk to them. My tag's expired right now. Probably. I don't know for sure. But this shit's a pain in the ass to keep up with. A lot of people do the pandemic, they lost their jobs. They got to be compassionate. Be understanding. It's one thing to be like, I don't have to use my tag.
I'm sorry, not the VA. The DMV is now the DMV is now it's like appointment only. And
dude, I've got the point where I need to re-up my tag. I'm just going to buy a new car and trade my own in because I don't feel like having to jump through the hoops to get a tag renewed.
Hey, listen, we've all been there. Like, if people want to be like petty, they're like, "Hey, you still got your temp sticker on, and in my computer it shows that you should have a different sticker." It's like, listen, cops. I'm telling you, cops have a million reasons to pull you over, and they don't do it. So when people be like, all they do is pull people over and write tickets, that is not true. You can get a ticket.
Sometimes you go the whole day. Sometimes you go the whole day or a week. Or there's some people, like as a supervisor, I'd have a captain come to me and he'd be like, "Hey, Officer so-and-so hadn't made a stop all month in the last 30 days. Okay, but he takes the most reports. He'll take all the reports. He'll take, he works, he does stuff. So I'm not worried about somebody just making traffic stops. And there's other people who love traffic stops. and then they might have 20 traffic stops and calls for service. But as long as they're doing something. But some officers hate traffic stops. Some of them never do them. Some of them you could do whatever in front of them. They're not going to stop you because they don't, for whatever reason. They don't.
Because number one, my big ass always takes a while to get out of the car, and number two, it's just like. And
if it's raining, you're probably safe because unless you're, Crawley might stop you if it's raining, but if it's raining or cold, you're probably not gonna get stopped. You're probably a lot of little 25, 30 miles speed limit for.
So, Jay, let me ask you this: when you doing let's say it's been like a week. No, let's go riots because you and I have done at least three apiece. A week, 2, 3 straight, 4 straight days of disrespect, and admin is saying, "Hey, you got to be perception is everything. You can't do this. You can't say this. You can't get caught on saying camera. You can't say do this, do that, do that, do that, do that." How the freak? How do they expect these officers to be out here and able to endure that day after day?
I'm telling you, and there's people. That's all they're trying to do is but you're ready to punch someone in the face. You're ready to just. You're tired of being spit at, stuff thrown at you, cursed at, shot at. I mean, whatever. You're just tired of it, and your patience go to zero, and. I think you told me before the show started that on the last riots, would have lost a group of 50 people or so filed a lawsuit for the last riots.
The city of Charlotte.
Yeah, so because we used gas on people trying to hurt us, but it's frustrating. And then we're human. At the bottom, we're human beings. We're not specially trained. Special forces and years of training. You go to how long was it? 6 months, 9 months. It's most of it is like classroom, right? So it's like a classroom environment. You got some PT. They yell at you a little bit, kind of like a light boot camp, maybe Air Force boot camp or something, Coast Guard. but it's not a lot. I mean, that's it. And then you're on the road and you just deal with it. And people expect you to, with that little bit of training, to make split second decisions. Get them right 100 times. So I'd be able to save somebody's life, be an attorney, marriage counselor. And I told you before, I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, I've got my own problems with my kid or my family. I'm not in a place to tell you what to do with yours. I'll give you advice, but just because I'm a cop doesn't mean I know how to raise a kid or be a family man any better than they do. Right. So
you got some of the worst people as cops, as family men and husbands and fathers, and they're out here trying to fix other people's issues on domestics. And you're you're literally with somebody, your backup, and you know how shit he is to his wife. He got like 90 kids that he got to take care of out of wedlock. And you're just listening to him like shovel bullshit on this.
He's got all the answers.
Why don't you have the answers in your own life, man?
I think some of them, all they do is for their training, they watch Dr. Phil and they just they write stuff down, take notes, and then try to. But people don't. That's it. And then, but you have this expectation, this standard that we're just supposed to be, everything. We're supposed to. I mean. It's unrealistic, and that stress, and then and being in the riots, people yelling in the high intensity and throwing rocks, and I mean, it just wears on you, man. At a certain point, you don't have any patience, and then you push somebody back because they're trying to run through your line, and then it's caught on camera and it looks bad. The perception is bad. That's happened here in Charlotte. Is officers do the right thing and have to push somebody and. All they have is a push, and the officers get jammed up because they push somebody. Well, they don't take it. They don't take in the totality, and they jam up the officer because it looks bad. We talked about earlier with perception, and then what does it do for morale? But we're out here in the shit, and they're worried if we say a bad word or if I say something to you out of frustration, and you and I are on the same team, and somebody else body camera catches it, they're going to hem us. I mean, it's just the expectation, and I mean, thank God. Just could you imagine, our soldiers and Marines in Fallujah or some of these big battles having body cameras, and then them going back and saying, "Well, you cursed before you shot this guy," or the rules of engagement a little different being in the military, But going back and critiquing everything that person did, or anything, a school bus driver that was involved in a wreck, or a doctor who made a bad decision, or a teacher who, I mean, the stress alone to be held to that standard and constantly being micromanaged and second guessed on everything you said. It's just it takes a toll on you, and you're like, it just wears on you.
It does, man. And like, where's the respect from administration? Like, I feel like right people, now they have the mentality of, you're paid to do a job, just go do it. But that's not respect to me.
No, it's not respect. Honestly, the thing is, they're worried about, and their job is a little, the higher up the rank you get, the more the role change. But the problem is, there's an expectation is that all they're worried about the department's image. So it doesn't matter if you're right, wrong, or indifferent. If it makes the department look bad, they're going to throw you on the bus, which it's not the way it's supposed to be. But I think they forgot, never been in those situations because they've never been real cops. And they just hold it. I mean,
funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
A lot of admin superstars.
And just because you get, we talk about just because one day I'm on FMT in Eastway, the next day I'm a sergeant over a district patrol division or a patrol squad. I don't know anything more on Saturday than I did Friday when I was a regular officer. But the expectation now, you know everything. So I think the first rule of being a good cop or supervisor is to realize I don't know everything. And just because I get chevrons or gold bars on my collar doesn't mean I know anything more. And you have to rely on the people that your experienced officers. So it's like, in the military, a second lieutenant just goes to ROTC, goes to college, just come out as second lieutenant, and they're over sergeant majors. I doubt a second lieutenant's going to tell the sergeant major what to do, but technically but they rely on their first sergeants and everyone else to give them good information. They can't just say, "Oh, I'm a lieutenant," and some of them do. It happens, but I'm a lieutenant now. I know more than the 20-year veteran sergeant major or the first sergeant. But that's the way
you just went to school. You just went to school.
Yeah, you went to school. So these people they did a year on patrol in South, and they had a coordinator's position, and they went to detective bureau, and next thing you know, they're a major or something. Never been in the streets, and they don't have the some of them don't care. Some of them like, well, I'll throw that officer on the bus because it'll make me look good to the chief because I'm standing up for the team, right? So, and they alienate everybody else, and I think that's what they've done.
They'll be the main ones in board hearings. They'll be like, "Okay, why'd you shoot here? Because he was pointing a gun at me." Like, that's the stupidest fucking question I think I've ever been asked. Like, did you forget that if somebody points a gun at you, you can shoot them, right?
Yeah, if I shoot, they were trying to make an issue, and my attorney has called me a couple times. Don't mention, because when I went to cover and we're exchanging rounds, I go prone. I'm shooting under the car, and I remember when I went to SWAT school. My shooting was in 2016. I went to SWAT school like in 2002, 3, and they say, "Hey, somebody's prone under the same scenario, same under the car. Shoot under the car, kind of skip the rounds." Well, training comes back to you, right? You play that in your mind. What we do, you play it in your mind. So when it happens, I'm like, shit, I'm going to skip around. So you go prone, pop, 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 start popping rounds, skipping them. I'm meticulous. Were you trained by CMPD to skip rounds? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm thinking, I'm in a gun battle. He just shot my partner. He shot somebody else. We're in a gun battle. What do you mean am I trained by CMPD to skip? I'm trained to shoot my gun and stay alive. But it's
they don't want to write that check. They don't want to write that check.
I'm like,
I was trained to survive.
It's an effective thing. It doesn't matter. It's like, a lot of people are like, you can't carry anything. Well, most cops carry a pocket knife. We're not trained to to that. But I guarantee you, if somebody gets me around the neck, I'm gonna take it out and stab them in the eye. But then, but
It's so weird, man. It's like, the more you ask for respect, the more, not even ask, the more you just hope to get it. You don't
yeah,
get it.
and people like it's their argument, but it's earned not given. I get it, but the fact that the sacrifices that people in like the military, the public safety, the firemen, the medics, that they sacrifice holidays, weekends, nights, all this other stuff to be there when you need help and call 911. These people are willing to respond and put themselves in harm's way routinely, daily, multiple times a day to protect you or your loved ones. That alone should earn a little bit of, a minimum amount of respect, but there's not even that anymore.
So going forward, Jay, how do you think respect can be, I don't want to say earned, you should kind of have it, but how can you improve respect? Let's start with admin and the troops, the ground troops. How can you get respect up?
The number one thing you have to do in an organization, if it's policing, fire, Bank of America, whatever, you have to let the people in charge, you have to let the people below you know that you care about them and you're going to take up for them, right? I'll tell my people, you go out here and do whatever you have to do, do the right thing. If you have to punch somebody in the face, punch them in the face, but do what you're supposed to do, and I'll back you 100%. Now, I don't know how far that. A lot of times, I'd back the officer, and they would get off. But since I took up for the officer, they would ding me for something, right? So, but I didn't give a shit because none of my guys ever got jammed up from working. I did a lot, but for stupid shit. But it was for retaliation, taking up for my guys. But care. So there's a sheriff in Florida. You see a lot of stuff on the news. He's that Florida Green. He's got like 27 stars, whatever. But he's always coming out and taking up for his guys or whatever. And that goes a long ways. If the officer did what he's supposed to do, and people raising hell, come out and take up for the officer. Say, the officer did a good job. You acknowledge good work, allow for honest mistakes, and be fair if you have to punish or do something like that. But the problem is now is if you do that, there's still agencies out there agencies that do that, and they have loyalty, they have higher morale, but they just don't do that anymore.
Like Miller said, it's one thing to say it, but to do it is what really holds weight with the troops. Some people can talk the talk, but forget to walk it when stuff. And I agree. You've had supervisors that come up in front and say, "Hey, open door policy. If you need a day off and it's short, I will come in." And you've heard all that BS.
And you got supervisors. I had one tell me like, "Hey, I roll on base what I think the major's going to rule on." I'm like, well, we give our opinion. I don't know how many times I went against a captain or major or been in the lieutenant's office. You can't go in the captain's office as a sergeant and kind of go back and forth. But I did with my lieutenant. Me and my lieutenant were close, but we've had yelling, screaming matches. I'm taking up for my family. I'm like, no, they didn't do, and I take up for them. But I've heard supervisors say, "Oh, we'll take up and do this," and then when it comes down to it, they fold and just throw the officer in the bus. They care more about their career and making the other person above them look good to them instead of taking for the people. I was in reverse, and I think people that know me or work for me, I'm not just saying that's what I care more about.
You ever notice, especially in this job, like you remember, like it's a handful of supervisors that I respect and that I can call to this day. I think two of them already. Sergeant B, Captain D, If there's
Yeah,
others,
those
but
are fair.
those two off the top of my head,
And that's all you asked for.
remember Sergeant Hurry, Sergeant Hatley, like they're
Harvey.
since gone, but you know, I can, those are the ones that stick to you because those are the ones that when nobody is around, they legit ask you like, "Hey, how's everything? You good? Hey, you looked a little out of it during roll call. You wasn't joking. Like, what's going on? You good?" Like that's a leader. Like there are
Yeah, and
supervisors who can write you up, ding you up, and then there are leaders that know what it takes to lead and know what it takes to be control of troops.
and my thing is, if I have to get to the point to write someone up, then I failed as a leader. I honestly, unless it's a preventable wreck or there's something there's no defense to, like that comes down,
Like
I
stealing
never.
steaks at the Harris Teeter.
So yeah, I never. I can't think of one time other than a preventable accident. There's some things that the officers do. They know they're going to have to wear it or something, but like I've never initiated a complaint or written up an officer. I always do. Look, I'll take them and say, look, this is what I need you to do. This is how we do it, and never have a problem again. But there's some who think that the more people they write up, the better supervisor they are. I'm not. Sometimes you're gonna have. Sometimes you're gonna have. I was fortunate to have people to work for me that were good, but sometimes you're gonna have shit turds that you're gonna have to do. Write up or get rid of or whatever. But my supervised leader mentality was different than most. But take up for and going back to that's where the morale comes back and the respect. If the people in the public know, hey, if I lodge this bullshit complaint about this officer and the sheriff says, hey, my guys did what they were supposed to do, don't be a criminal, right? And what does that say to the officer? This guy guy takes care of us, instead of being like, oh, I saw the video and I'm very disturbed. And then ultimately you might rule in the favor of the officer or not just because of the way it looks, but you're given that perception, you're folding into the demands of the few, and then that just paints a bit like, fuck this guy. I'm not going out here and doing, risking my life and career and family to if this is the guy who's gonna have my back. And then when that sets the precedent that we're not going to put up with BS complaints, and that empowers the officers to go out there and do their job, which in turn gives them, more respect, because people are like, hey, well, I can't come and just tell this guy to go F off because he's going to jerk me out by my hair and take me to jail. So, and then he's going to be back when he does it.
Well, we don't have to worry about nobody jerking us out.
Oh, what?
God damn it. I got tongue tied. That's live, yo.
Like
I didn't mean that.
So I've got some news to share.
Go ahead.
I may have sold the BBB.
No. How? That fast? Somebody flipped it?
Yeah.
For
a
happened?
nice profit. The only way I would have sold it if I made a bet.
Somebody saw it on TV and was like, I got to have famous, the BBV.
They're like, is that the BBV? I'm like, matter of fact, it is. So it's but the good news is I've ordered another one that will be here between 8 and 12 weeks.
Big van flipper. That's your name. Now let me ask you this: are you going to do something different in this one? That now that you got, like, man, if I had to do it over again. So do you have certain aspects that you're going to change in the next one? Or you're going to get it exactly the same?
The only difference is the TV's a little bigger because it has the Apple TV built in on the main TV.
You.
So
who raised you? Who raised you?
So when I'm watching TV in the van, on my trips, I don't have.
When you watching Steve Harvey while driving to Florida by yourself?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely.
Now, will you have rocket launchers and a gun holder on this one?
I will have multiple guns in my BBV, but
okay,
I'm prepared because it's my go van too. When everybody that had the vaccine start turning into zombies and stuff, I'm jumping in the van. You better have a golden ticket. And
oh man. Please don't upset the people out there. Don't make them upset. But I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to give a special shout out to a young lady who did this for us. This is our late night talk show. We've been in the gym picture that was done by Amelia Kate. She's a fantastic graphics designer, artist. Let me get her information correct because I don't want to mess this up. You can find her. You can find her at Amelia Kate 22 on Twitter. She is a graphic website designer, concept artist, illustrator, animator of live 2D face. That is her business. She's very good. She's very fast, and she's always asking input. Like she takes input. She doesn't take anything personally. She fixes anything that you may have an issue with. We must.
She had to get. I made her. She was a little
change
too
your face.
too accurate.
She had you
I was like, no, I was like, you got to square that jar off. You can't have the double chin hanging down.
Yes, but please look out for at Amelia Kate 22. She's fantastic. If you want any website things done, any graphic design done, anything, she is the person to talk to, and I will vouch for her. She's very, very, very good.
Absolutely.
Miller said she made me buff. Miller, you can't tell me I was a groomsman in your wedding. I look good. I'm buff, man. Like,
but what they did, be honest, is they did a to scale sketch of my upper body, and then
they just made it black.
Yeah, they said. Well, for me, I mean, mine was 1-to-1 accurate, and yours was, they toned you up. They did a little bit of some
hold
Botox.
on. Let's tell the truth. This is the second artist that has struggled drawing steps. For some reason, this is what I've been told by 2 artists. White people are very hard to draw. Nailed me, nailed the black guy with the beard, but for some reason they struggle with the white guy.
Still to do what's that actor I do stunt doubles for? Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. So you will be in the new Venom and Carnage movie. Look out for you and Kingpin, all that other good stuff. But man, time flies when you're having fun. Let's tell them where they can find us. You can find us. Our new Facebook is the Black and Blue Lives Podcast Facebook page. Make sure you go there. Hit the damn thumbs up, people. It's not hard.
Make sure you go in there and add pictures and stuff too.
I will. Find us at the Black and Blue Lives Instagram, at Real Prince Blue on Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff.
I think on the Facebook I added links to your to the web to Apple where our podcast is,
right?
To your Instagram, to your Twitter.
You just brought up my next point. Please subscribe to the podcast, whether you got Apple or Android. It's not hard. Just say, "Hey Siri, hey Alexa, subscribe to the Black and Blue Lives podcast," and it's as simple as that. People, like, come on. If y'all
did you run live? Did you run live tonight on the Instagram too?
I did not, because the wife told me it's some logistics to that we gotta nail it down, and we'll get it together pretty soon. But remember, check on somebody. Make sure you check on one person. Just ask them, are they okay? It could be somebody you know, somebody you don't know, somebody you're seeing too close to the edge. Just ask them, are they okay? You never know what type of response you're gonna get, and you never know if you're going to save somebody's life. You got anything, Jay?
No, man. That's it.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been fun, fantastic. Y'all say hi again to PJ, the Black and Blue Lives K9. He's been a good boy. He's been such a good boy. He's been still. So thank you, everybody. Huh?
Like every puppy I've had that has been calm and still, they had worms.
No, he definitely does not have worms. His mama won't allow him to do anything. She's always brushing them, cleaning them. Like, man, like, you know. So, but
look
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, we're good. No, we're good so far. First time dog owners, and we're gonna get it done. Thank you everybody for listening. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you missed this episode live, the audio will be available tomorrow morning on the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to Apple and Google. And
then we'll put the video on our Facebook page.
Yes. And also, make sure y'all go listen to my man Greg's new album. It just came out. It's very good. I downloaded it. Make sure you download it. Shout out to my brother. And the reason why I say that, because he is responsible for why we can now leave without an awkward silence. Peace out, everybody. Be good.
Yeah. Look, black and blue lives. Yeah.